until gold was found north of here near Dawson, Yukon in 1896. Prospectors flooded the region, with most heading to nearby Dyea, which was 6 miles from Skagway, where they climbed the established Chilkoot Trail. It was a brutal climb, yet prospectors still came by the thousands. In 1898, a group of investors from London, England started construction on the White Pass and Yukon route, the railroad that we'll be riding today. The railroad eventually climbed to the summit of White Pass, which is now the border between the United States and Canada, and then it passed through a small part of British Columbia before reaching Whitehorse, Yukon. The White Pass carried freight and passengers until 1982, when a major shipper along the line closed, which in turn forced the railroad to cease operations. During the years that the railroad was closed, Skagway started to become a stop for cruise ships touring Alaska's Inside Passage. In 1988, the railroad reopened between Skagway and White Pass to cater to this new passenger trade. Over the years, more of the railroad has been reopened to serve the ever-increasing passenger demand generated by the cruise ships. The White Pass is narrow gauge, with 3 feet between the rails, instead of the usual standard gauge, which has a width of 4 feet 8 1/2 inches. Narrow gauge was cheaper to build, and can snake around much tighter curves than standard gauge track, which as we'll see is an advantage here. Since the White Pass has never connected with any other railroad, being narrow gauge has never been a problem. The locomotives are unique to the railroad, having been custom built for the White Pass. The 90 series shovel-nose diesels were built between 1954 and 1966 by General Electric. 101 series diesels were built between 1969 and 1971 by the Montreal Locomotive Works. Number 114 was built in 1982 by Montreal's successor, the Bombardier Company. The White Pass also has 2 steam locomotives that are used on occasion. Number 69 was built in 1908 by the Baldwin Locomotive Works, and number 73 built in 1947 by Baldwin. Number 73 was the last steam locomotive built for the White Pass.